Is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry a copycat of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid? Let's dive in. Hi, I'm Paige. Welcome back to my channel. This is Turn the Page Books. Today we have a special video where I'm going to analyze the difference between Great Big Beautiful Life and The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because there are some similarities in the books. So I will go through different topics and themes about each story and tell you which one I liked better. First, I'm going to talk about the plots for each book. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid follows a Hollywood icon, Evelyn Hugo, who is finally ready to tell her story, including her scandalous love life and marriage to 7 different husbands. She picks a smaller known reporter, Monique Grant, to write her biography. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry is a new release, and it follows 2 reporters, Alice and Hayden, as they are both competing for the same job, which is writing a biography for Margaret Ives, an heiress and former tabloid sensation that vanished from the public eye years ago. So the premise is similar. Both feature 2 icons from their own fictional pop culture who have lived a life in the spotlight and are now ready to share their lives with some eager reporters. But one concurrent theme that they both have is navigating how stories are told and who has the right to tell them. So they're creating a narrative about someone's life based on their truth. While I do think there was some inspiration drawn from The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo for Great Big Beautiful Life, I don't think that this is a copycat. And honestly, I think that both stories are pretty different. Let's talk about the timelines. Both books are stories within a story. Evelyn Hugo's story is a series of interviews told to Monique. Margaret's story is told to Alice. However, in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, the story is a heavier focus on Evelyn's story versus Monique's. Monique's home life is only briefly explored. Great Big Beautiful Life is a much heavier focus on Alice and Hayden and their love story and how their lives interconnect with Margaret Ives, the 2 icons of the story. While reading both of the books, I did find a key difference between Margaret Ives and Evelyn Hugo and the motivation for their biography. Evelyn is looking to be understood, finally ready to tell about her life story and the truth about her love life. One of my favorite quotes from Evelyn Hugo is, "Sometimes the truth isn't good enough. People deserve more." While Margaret's story is a little bit more ambiguous and misleading, in the end it all comes together for both characters and the truth is finally revealed, which leads to some pretty major plot twists in both of the books. Here are my reviews for both of the books. Starting with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, hands down 5 stars. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I related to the main character, Evelyn Hugo, so much, just in her love story and her feeling of longing and the tragedy that she endures throughout the book. I was heartbroken. I couldn't put it down. When I wasn't reading it, I was constantly thinking about the next time that I would get to pick it up. Honestly, kind of down for a reread because it's been a while. I read this one a few years ago now, so it has been some time and I just keep thinking back to it and I just loved it. Absolutely, 100%. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I just picked this one up recently because everyone was talking about it. It's a new release. It just came out in April. A lot of people are saying that it's their favorite Emily Henry book. I have read a few. I have read The People We Meet on Vacation, Funny Story, and Happy Place. And now this one. So I still have a few more that I have to read. This is also a great read. Emily Henry kind of stepped out of her typical genre, the typical rom-com type of book, and included a little bit of mystery, a sprinkle of mystery, if you will, and some contemporary fiction. I loved the main characters, Alice and Hayden, together. The tropes are grumpy sunshine, a little enemies to lovers because they're competing for the same job, and some forced proximity because they have to stay at the same place and stay in this little town to work on this project and see who gets picked as the winner to write her biography. Absolutely adored the setting. It takes place off the coast of Georgia on a little island. And funny story, when I started reading this book, I was actually at Jekyll Island on vacation. Really set the vibe. Kind of pictured the setting to be Jekyll Island when I was reading. This was a 4-star read for me. I didn't get that deep into Margaret Ives' story. Whenever it was talking about her story, especially towards the beginning, I was a little bit taken out of the book and I was wanting more Alice and Hayden. But overall, it was a great read and I highly recommend. Which did I like better? Both are emotional and well-written reads. But I have to say that I did like Evelyn Hugo a little bit better than Great Big Beautiful Life. Something about it just consumed me more than Great Big Beautiful Life. But I do think that if you are an Evelyn Hugo fan, you will like this book. When I find a book that's similar to one I already love, of course I'm going to read it. So both are amazing reads that you should definitely check out. One thing I do also want to mention is that I read this one physically and I listened to the audio and partially read this one physically. So I did a hybrid of both. The narrator for this book is Julia Whalen. She's one of my favorite audiobook narrators. She does a fantastic job. I highly recommend anything that she narrates as an audiobook because you know it's gonna be good when she is the narrator. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you disagree, please be nice. Have you read these books or are you interested in reading them? I wanna know. Thank you so much for watching. I post videos every Thursday. So sorry that this one is delayed. I had a lot going on last week. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked this video. And also be sure to check out my content on other platforms. I post on TikTok and Instagram, occasionally on Lemonade. But on TikTok, I am so close to 6,000 followers. Hopefully by the time I post this, it will be at 6,000. And I post on those platforms every single day. Have a wonderful week and see you in the next one. Bye.